Okay, for all my fellow fall freaks out there, come on. Yeah, pumpkins galore. Yeah, I stayed up really late last night finishing this, and I didn't finish it. So I woke up early this morning and finished it. It's pumpkins galore. Gather round. I made a thing. I hope I can inspire. Oh, it's a basket. No, it's not. It's a cart. The cart got loaded up with pumpkins, and they freaking spilled everywhere and made a blanket. As some of you know, I'm trying out a new thing on my channel. Have you ever been like looking for a pattern online and you're like, oh, that looks really cool, but like I just don't have enough like of an idea of like what am I getting myself into, you know? So find myself on YouTube being like, has anybody else tried this? Like what was their experience like? So that's what I'm trying to do right here. We are going to talk about pumpkins galore. I just finished this. This pattern's by Donna Herlick, and as always, I will have a direct link to the pattern so you can go support the artist. We love supporting artists here. So let's get into it. So as you can see from the pattern, I have a paper copy, but I might scroll through on the computer so you can see a digital copy as well. They don't really look like they're the same pattern, do they? We'll get into that. If you decide to go for this actual pattern and follow the rules and be a good crocheter that follows the rules, then I encourage you to go forth and hook, you know? I'm not gonna like get into the nitty-gritty of the pattern because that's kind of not very polite. It's like they worked really hard on this pattern, so go support the artist. You can check out the pattern there. I'll just give a really rough overview of the materials needed, skill level, instructions and clarity for me, a beginner crochet. I've been crocheting for like 2 or 3 years and I still am considered a beginner. Anyways, then I'll talk about the modifications I made. This would be a great gift. Okay, so materials needed. Yarn. If you follow the instructions, this is a throw for the yarn. For the background color, here she has marked 1,250 yards. If you use a bigger hook, if you change your gauge, if you want to use a bulkier yarn, just keep that in mind and adjust accordingly and use the pattern as like a solid foundation to kind of grow your own piece. 50 yards of one of the orange, another 50 yards of the other orange, 100 yards of the brown color used to make the cart and the stems, and then the crochet hook gauge that is recommended on this pattern is size G or 4 millimeters. If you want to go forth and make the pillow, find some stuffing. Again, it's like a throw, so it'll be approximately like 47 inches by 58 inches, and I'll list the centimeters. I forgot to calculate those beforehand, so I'll list those. Okay, so that's kind of like a rough idea of the materials needed. I used the cheapest yarn, my favorite cheap yarn, and on the pattern she recommends a value brand as well. So it's also down to like personal preference, like what's your favorite yarn? What do you think would be the best? The skill level for this pattern is intermediate. As I say, comparison is the thief of joy, right? To a certain extent, it is important to heed when it comes to skill level, right? I normally don't pay attention to that, but if you pay attention to that, I totally get it. I'm not judging. They're there for a reason, right? I was blown away by how easy this was. I was really intimidated taking this on. I was like, how the heck did she make pumpkins? And the way that she like writes it in the pattern, you're like, what? It is just, it's mind-blowing. I can't say it enough. This pattern creator did was make a list of stitch abbreviations, so that will come with the pattern as well, you know, so like DC, double crochet, stuff like that. And then she also has a section for special stitches as well. Another amazing addition. I cannot appreciate enough when artists take the time to do that, go through the trouble to add that. It's amazing. Intermediate, go for it. Beginner, go for it. Okay, this could be a great learning experience. I definitely think a beginner could take this on, depending on how patient you are with yourself and with your capacity for learning. For me, sometimes I'm not very patient with myself when it comes to learning new things. Luckily, crochet has actually allowed me to offer that kindness to myself. So I hope that other people are inspired to take this on as well. In this particular pattern, I was trying to envision what it was going to be before I even started, and that took me down a spot where I kind of like hit a brick wall. And again, this is not a pattern thing. This is a me thing. We should all know this by now. What was I saying? I really went off the rails there. Oh yeah, once I was just like, okay, you know what? You're not gonna envision what this is. You have this picture, but you don't know what you're doing until you do it. So I was just like, I just put on some Elden Ring. I watched my favorite streamer play Elden Ring, and I just went through it. A few pumpkins in, I'll post a picture of me looking incredibly confident in my abilities and how this was going to turn out. Of course, you aren't going to envision this. You've never made this before. Why would you envision something you've never even tried? It's not adding up. So once I was able to just let go and be like, okay, just go with it. This was a pattern written by an individual through their process. Trust the process. Dive in and go for it. And as soon as I let go of like my control over needing to know exactly how this was going to turn out, stitch by stitch, as soon as I let that go, it started to come together. It was really fun. And I even took some time to like scribble some notes. That's usually something I do with every pattern. I will scribble down kind of shorthand in a way that my brain can most efficiently do it, so I can kind of zone out and chill and, you know, like listen to like someone playing Elden Ring while also crocheting. So having those notes was really helpful too. Give that a try. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed by a pattern, try like breaking it down and writing it step by step in a way that is easier for you to digest and process. Again, it has nothing to do with like the way that the pattern's written. I think it's just the way in which I take in information and step-by-step processes. So once I started rolling those pumpkins, I was churning those pumpkins out like I was making stacks. Okay. And then I did the edging. As usual, I have an absolute blast doing the actual crocheting. I don't have an absolute blast when I have to sew a thing onto a thing. I'd rather just crochet it all in one. Again, not a pattern thing. It's a personal preference for me. Does that mean this pattern sucks? No. It just means like, I don't know. We all have preferences, right? I was so skeptical in my abilities to be able to do this that I was like, there's no way, because what? I mean, just look at how does that even, what? But one pumpkin at a time, right? And it happened with the hot dog scarf. Like, this is a very common theme I'm gonna run into is, number one, following the rules step by step perfectly. I'm not a perfect angel. I do my best. And sometimes it's really hard to follow instructions. I almost said follow instructions. I meant to say instructions. So that was one of my challenges. The big pumpkins, so much fun. Whip those out, and I love doing the edging. And I can't believe it actually came together. So let me tell you, the advice if you take this pattern on, go with the flow. Let go and trust the process. Trust this artist and trust her ability and creative genius. Let go of control, right? Let them lead the way. It's their pattern, right? This is advice I would give to myself if I were to do this again. So if you're anything like me, please take that. Take that gift I offer to you. Okay, so let me see my notes. Okay, modifications. Let's get into it. As you can see on the pillow, right? I'll show a picture of the pillow kind of close up. Hopefully it's not blurry. As you can see, we have 2 separate items on this pattern. As you can see, I made 1 item, kind of combining both. I did not think this was going to work, and it did. So first off, I do think that I have to mention a wonderful pattern, in my opinion, is one that allows you the creativity and room to take it and make it your own. And this pattern did that. As you can see, like, I just finished it this morning and I am still just like, I haven't even processed it. Zeus broke it in. Zeus and I played last night with it, but I haven't even been able to like really break it in yet. But we will. I'm gonna toss it in the wash and dry it. Again, with that, follow the instructions. If you see my other previous crochet videos, I kind of go on a tangent about it. Follow the yarn instructions, follow the washing instructions on the label. And I'm not gonna give what I do because that's not what I do. Obviously, big surprise. Okay, so back to modifications. At first, when I set out to do this, I was like, I love that pillow, it's so cute, but I don't wanna buy more stuff. I don't need an extra pillow. Okay, well, why don't I just start with the blanket? So I started with the blanket, and then I'll post some pictures here of my process. Then I was like, this is really cool. Like, I love like almost like the mod aesthetic of it, right? 4 colors, you know, in a different combo. Love that. I think it's absolutely amazing. Then I got to thinking, I was like, okay, what is like ultimate like nostalgia cozy? I think anybody who had grandparents in the Midwest any time between like the 60s through probably today knows you had that like gold framed painting in their house of pumpkins, and it was like orange, diarrhea green, and like these like beautiful like rich 70s colors, you know what I mean? I'm gonna find a picture and I'll post it. I want to be a little bit of camp and a little bit of like cozy nostalgia in the Midwest, you know what I mean? So that's what I went for. I was like, I don't know if I want like a full-blown wagon. So I was just playing around and I decided to come up with this. So then from there, it felt like I was starting, can you see me? Can you see my eyeball? What if the cart spills over, right? In my brain, I'm like, what if like I make the cart like seem like it's toppling over, and then all the pumpkins are like scatter everywhere, and that's what these big pumpkins are. I was like, I want to tell a story. And so that's how I came up with this. I went off the rails. So for starters, I just made a simple like granny stitch, and then I kind of just eyeballed and kind of played around. Will it fit here? Will it fit here? I tried moving this whole rectangle thing. I tried it at the top, very top of the blanket. I tried it at the very bottom. I was like, So I settled for the 3rd row in, and I think it's really nice. I would say the least fun part, it's like, what have I done to myself? Why did I do this? I can't not do it now because I'm committed. You know what I mean? So I sewed all these dadgum dingaloids on here. And it's so worth it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this. There are some other ideas I was playing around with as well. I played around with the idea of getting like a nice dark green and maybe doing like some surface level like embroider crochet stitches, right? And just going like and making like vines, you know, some pumpkin vines. But I was like, I really want this like more 70s camp, like 70s granny camp So the versatility is so awesome. As you can see on the pattern, I used similar colors, but the colors I want, right? If you're making this for a gift, that same rule applies. What do you think would be their absolute favorite hues and tones? You could make this not even a pumpkins galore, you can make this a gourds galore. You could turn this yellow and be a spaghetti squash, okay? And one of those pale greens, I don't know what those are called, and if people even eat them. Or the dark green ones, you know, like the acorn squash and stuff. You can make this a gourds galore. You could go spring with it. You could turn these into tomatoes and have it be friggin' Tomato Head Joe Bonanza galore. Hello? If you check out the link, there are some other like reviews that people posted that they use different colors on this. Like there was one that used like a nice, like light tan, off-white color for this. I'm really glad that I used dark colors because that really gave me a freedom to fudge whatever I needed to make work, make it work. When in doubt, fudge it out. That is one big takeaway I had from this. Not only do you just trust the process, but sometimes you just gotta fudge things a little till they work, right? And that is why I love crochet. You can be versatile with it. You can take it and add pieces of yourself and your own perspective and tell your own story with it. This was a lot of fun. I hope I covered everything. And I hope that I inspired you to try this. Again, this is something that's just like a really nice treat to do for yourself or an amazing gift. This would be an amazing gift. Okay, for all my fellow fall freaks out there, come on. Yeah, this is an amazing gift and I'm just, yeah. So, are you gonna make a gourds galore? Are you gonna make a pumpkins galore? I hope that I inspired you to take this pattern on. It is really a lot of fun. If you take it on, tell me about it. I want to hear about it. Did this inspire you in some way to maybe take it on and do your own spin and your own take on it? Let me know. Again, the link is in the description. Support the artist and the creator of this pattern. Okay, I hope I covered anything. Consider liking and subscribing. And please take care of yourself. Be good to each other. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.